Hello, hello. Welcome everyone. Really excited for today's live stream, second one ever, 6:30. I'm gonna be capping this at 1 hour tonight. Last time we went about 2.5 hours. So I promised my wife we'd get dinner here in about an hour. So welcome everyone. Please let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to answer any questions you may have about our crazy housing market. So can everyone hear me okay? Just say yes in the chat if you can hear me all right. I'm really curious where everyone's tuning in from and what you're thinking about your housing. What's going on in your housing market or where you're in your neck of the woods? What's everyone think about record high home prices being broken in March, April, and May across the nation and also in California? Pretty crazy. Jennifer, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Also want to know too, is this a good time for people too? So let me know in the comments too. Thinking about doing maybe every other week, about 6:30 on Thursdays. But if there's a different time or day that works best for you, just let me know. Just leave your comments or any questions in the chat box there. Hope everyone's having a good day. Jennifer, yeah, I think extending the eviction moratorium was bad. I'm actually posting two videos tomorrow. One is about the eviction moratorium extension and foreclosure moratorium extension. And then also some changes to mortgage loan forbearances. Those were also extended as well. So stay tuned on the channel for a video about that. And I'm also posting an update regarding new home sales across the nation because that was just released yesterday, and then the sales went down quite a bit. So I'm making a video about, is the housing market cooling or not? Tonmoy, yeah, thanks for joining. Good to see you. Jennifer, good to see you. Soul, hey Jason. Hey Soul, how you doing? Jennifer, I'm glad you're making friends with Jeb. Let's grow your channels. Yeah, I agree. Actually, I was just texting with Jeb today, actually. Good guy. Yeah, extending the eviction moratorium. Made a video about that today. That's gonna be posted tomorrow morning, as long as my video about, is the housing market cooling. Tonmoy, hey Jason. Hey Tonmoy, thanks for joining us. Jordan, thanks for joining us too. Appreciate you being here, taking the time, as well as Saul. How you doing? Skaz, how you doing? Thanks for joining us today. Duels, first time ever in live. Awesome, that's awesome. This is actually my second live stream ever. I promise not to screw up. How you doing? Nice to see you here. All right, first question here. Tonmoy, how does a buyer deal with a bad lender appraisal? Appraiser on a property I'm buying made errors, chose comps from February and March when there were 3 recent comps from May, 0.2 miles away. So if you're in contract to buy a house, I'm assuming as a buyer deal, you can actually send a dispute for an appraisal. So you can send, talk to your real estate agent, but they can send other comps that you feel support the value better. And so you can send a dispute to the appraiser company. But I would say, and based on my experience, I think I've only had one ever where they actually changed the valuation. It's basically they have to agree that they made an error. I've seen really bad appraisal reports and had no luck in getting those resolved, but definitely something you should look into. You can send them comparable sales that you think is a better match. So I hope that works out for you. Christian, hey. Thanks for joining us. Is that the Tower Bridge? Are you from Sacramento? Looks like the Tower Bridge. Home prices seem insane. Yes, they certainly do, don't they? By my math, in California, records broken in December, March, April, and May. And then National Association of Realtors reported that home prices broken in March, April, and May. So both in California and nationwide, home prices being broken for 3 months in a row, which is quite remarkable. Savita, thank you for joining. Nice to see you. And is this the new norm? I always say that it's not normal to have home prices increase by 20, 25% year over year. It's definitely more normal to have more like 5% appreciation. So the appreciation levels we're seeing right now, completely not sustainable. It's not going to last forever. Hard to say when that's going to end. Some things are in the works, or some things I'm seeing that are showing me that maybe, just maybe, the housing market may be cooling off just a bit. But in my opinion, as home prices increase, you're going to have more and more buyers that are going to fall off or just simply get frustrated, because I know home buyers are frustrated right now. So we'll have to see. You're in Rancho Cordova. Awesome. Jennifer, this is a good time for me. Great. And then let me know where you guys are tuning in from. Love to hear that. YouTube doesn't really tell me much about that, so love to hear where everyone is tuning in from. So you're in Rancho Cordova, Christian. Looks like. Have you seen new home builders lower prices or offer more incentives? Absolutely not. I have personally not seen that. What I'm seeing right now still is long waiting lists. So people are on long waiting lists. If there's a new development, they're just taking a list of people and then going down the list whenever a new lot becomes available. So hopefully, as you'll see in my video from tomorrow, I mentioned how inventory has been increasing for existing houses and also for brand new houses. So if demand decreases for new houses, one would assume that builders are going to have to attract buyers. But right now, we're not simply seeing that, at least in general across the U.S. Savita, any lives on short sales anytime soon? On short sales. So you mean a live stream regarding what short sales are about? I'm assuming what you're talking about. I don't have any plans to do that. Personally, we're not seeing a whole lot of short sales, at least in my neck of the woods, because equity has gone up so much and for people's houses. I think we had like less than 10 foreclosed houses in the greater Sacramento area, and short sales are very few and far between as well. I think they represent less than 1% of all sales. So we're not seeing a whole lot of that now, but gosh, if home prices decrease, I would definitely be making some more videos about short sales, foreclosures, how to buy those, whatnot. So hope that answers your question. Samson, hey, just want to share some good news. Finally got my home, 60 views, 20 offers. We were selected. Wow, that's awesome. So out of 20 offers, you guys got your offer accepted. Congratulations. That's really awesome. Really happy for you. And then Tom Moy, I want to go after Appraiser for negligence. Where can I file a complaint with? That's a really good question. I actually don't know the answer to that. I would reach out to your lender and see what they suggest. But number one, I would definitely dispute it, share some comparable sales to help support the value. And then that's what I would do. So many price drops on properties around me. Market appears to be cooling. Whereabouts is this? I'm curious. Good to see, though, if you're a home buyer. Jordan, I put an offer on a home listed for $350,000 in Dallas, offered $400,000 and still lost. Wow, sorry. Will this ever slow down? Gosh, I would anticipate that areas that are more affordable, like Sacramento, Texas, Utah, Idaho, I would imagine they're probably going to still have a lot of people that would be relocating there, because I don't know what $350,000 gets you in Dallas, but I assume it's a lot bigger than a house in Sacramento or in California, really. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with the Dallas market. My buddy Karam, who has a YouTube channel, he's based in Houston and Dallas, so definitely reach out to him. But yeah, that's tough. $50,000 over asking. You still didn't get an offer accepted. Sorry. Yeah, Dallas is super hot. Doug, congratulations. Here in San Diego County, my house is sold and in escrow. So congratulations. I lived in Del Mar for a summer a long time ago. I spent a summer there. Took a class at UC San Diego and really enjoyed myself. San Diego is awesome. And congratulations. Christian, Sacramento houses prices have been lower than most of California compared to LA. And yeah, absolutely. That's why we're getting a lot of people move to Sacramento, because the outskirts of the cities like LA and the Bay Area are much more expensive than Sacramento. Oh, awesome. Tom, while you're in Rockland. Cool. Love Rockland. Just sold a house in Roseville, actually. Dr. Clark, you're in Dallas. Great. Thanks for joining in. Dulce in San Diego. Again, love San Diego. Haven't been there in a long time. Would love to go back. Doug, my second home was in Sacramento. Attended. Oh, cool. Right on. CSUS. That's great. I've been living in Sacramento more or less since, gosh, I think the early 80s. 10,000 miles. Do you think there's a lot of buyer's remorse and that could lead to houses being sold sooner than the 10 to 10 years say? Yeah, I've heard that the average time that people are living at the house is actually longer than that now. I think it's like over 10 years. I'm curious about the people that move to different states, maybe especially like colder states, and they're not really used to that. Hard to say. Hard to say. But I mean, I could see that people that basically are working from home and maybe the employers ask them to come back, they want to live a little bit closer to work. I could see that some people may be moving if they move out of the area. It seems cheaper to get a secondhand homes and you can score a better deal. So I'm assuming you mean rather than a brand new house. And yeah, oftentimes the houses that are existing tend to be a little bit more cheaper than a brand new house, all other things being equal. I saw a house in El Dorado Hills. I sell for $550. Wow, that's really inexpensive for El Dorado Hills, which was a bargain even for a fixer upper. Yeah, under 600,000 El Dorado Hills is a little hard to come by. I actually lived in El Dorado Hills for a couple of years a while ago. Have you heard of the easy offer process some new home builders are doing? I have not heard of that. Easy offer process. I would have to look that up. Never heard of it, actually. Hey, Kevin, you're not late. Thanks for your comment. Late to the party, do you think that the bubble will eventually pop since prices seem unsustainable? Yeah, that's the ultimate question there, right? So things I look at is inventory and interest rates. So if interest rates were to skyrocket, maybe the Fed's not going to increase in 2023, maybe they do 2022, maybe they do it early in 2022. That could obviously cause the housing market to slow down. Or if all of a sudden a lot of people decide to sell their houses and inventory skyrockets, that of course could slow down the housing market. So, but yeah, the home price appreciation we're seeing right now, obviously not sustainable. We're due for some point to have some sort of correction. I will keep you posted though. Would you recommend, Lewis? Hey, thanks for your question. Would you recommend buying a house right now or wait until another crash in the future? I always tell people buy when it's right for you. Don't listen to a real estate agent telling you to buy a house right now. So yeah, have long-term time horizons. If you do decide to buy a house at any time, really, if you decide to buy a house now or in 10 years from now, have long-term time horizons, 7, 10 plus years, stable job, make sure you have funds, emergency funds, even after you buy a house. So who am I to say whether or not you should buy a house? I just say leave that up to you, but make sure you make an informed decision. Taxes to the moon. Wow, building permits take 1 year in San Diego County. That's crazy. Jennifer Lego, Indianapolis, Indy. All right. I've seen approximately 1% increase in listings, still going fast, except for fixer uppers, price increasing at a lower rate. That's good to see. I mean, I think we all want to have the housing market slow down a bit. It'd be so much more healthy to have that. But thanks for sharing. I don't really know too much about the market there. And Dr. Clark, have you done any Naca loans? I have not done any Naca loans. Hello, thanks for your comment. Median multifamily home price in Buffalo, New York hit $200,000. Wow, $200,000 for multifamily 8 years ago. Still affordable by New York City standard. Just moved from that place. That's great. Yeah, home prices in New York City obviously super high. Yeah, homes in my area can be purchased for 1/3 in California prices. Yeah, California prices reach $818,000, the median high home price in California. Compare that to the nation, I think it's around 345,000, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, we definitely pay to live in California, to say the least. Joe and Ventura, love Ventura. It's a real grind. I've been in the best and final, and now a handful of offers seem positive. I think down here more 2% over. Yeah, in my neck of the woods, which is Sacramento, on average, houses are selling around 5% over asking price. I think that's what you mean there. But yeah, it's a grind in many markets across the entire nation, which is just mind blowing. I feel for you. It's tough being a home buyer right now. Ed Toll, thanks for your question. Have you looked in that Florida market? And if so, what are your thoughts? I do not know too much about the market in Florida, but I do know that we have a lot of people moving there because of affordability issues. I've read a lot from New York City, for example. But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not too familiar with the market there. I think renting is going to be the new norm. Buying houses for rentals are the way to go. Yeah, we're actually, since you're in the Sacramento region, I just read an article and a blog post from Ryan Lundquist, who is an appraiser out here. And he found out that the Invitation Homes is actually back in buying houses in the Sacramento region. What they do is buy houses, fix them up, and then rent them out. And that's how I started my real estate career, 8 years ago. You're welcome, Doug. Your videos are Garson. Oh, thank you for that. Do you feel this is probably the last opportunity for young generations to be homeowners? We have teachers in New York City living in basements. Yeah, I mean, teachers do not get paid enough. My mom was a teacher. The last opportunity for young generations to be owners. I can totally understand where you're coming from, because people are seeing half as many houses for sale, home prices going up and up and up. At some point, they're going to be going down. Trust me, if history repeats itself, you can't have home prices increase forever, because eventually people are going to be getting priced out. In other words, not be able to afford the house. So that's my opinion about that. But yeah, I know it's frustrating out there. Riverside, John, welcome from Riverside. I have read this, Kevin. Yeah, prices in Phoenix are absolutely insane. One of the hottest markets in the entire country, if I'm not mistaken. All right. About how much should you save for a $450,000 house with FHA loan with closing costs as a first-time home buyer? Yeah, it doesn't really matter if you're a first-time home buyer or you're buying your 99th house. If you're using an FHA loan, the minimum down payment is 3.5% of the purchase price. Closing costs vary by the area you live in. You might want to tack on, again, probably talk to your agent where you're in your neck of the woods, but it could be an extra like $5,000. You're using a loan. So I would just say, to be safe, 2% of the purchase price could be used for allocated towards closing costs. So about 5.5% in general for your total closing costs to buy a $450,000 house. Or I should say 5.5% of 450. Meaty, hey, what do you think about Folsom in Sacramento? Prices is going up. Yes, absolutely. I'm actually helping some buyers purchase houses in either Folsom, Granite Bay, or El Dorado Hills. Just helped a couple people buy houses in Folsom. But yeah, I'm seeing home prices in Sacramento in general going up. Hopefully, well, not hopefully, we'll see if that changes. Jakir, thanks for your question. Thanks for joining us. I want to buy a second home, $425,000. I want to buy 10% down payment. I'm curious, how are you going to do that? So usually when you buy a second house, they have to, sometimes the lender requires 20 to 25% down. I am not a lender, but talk to your loan officer. Credit 760, so that's great. They usually want to have your credit score in the range of 740 to 760 or above. Should I buy a second home now or wait for the first half of 2022? Again, it goes back to buy when it's right for you. There's no guarantees that in the first half of 2022 that anything's going to change. Cross your fingers. Hopefully there'll be more housing inventory though. Folsom prices are a crazy amount. Yep. Folsom tends to have higher home prices in the greater Sacramento area. Doug moved to North Dakota for 18 months during the oil boom in 2014. Great experience. Cold was an education, though. I have never been to North Dakota, but I can only imagine in the winter. We get spoiled here in California. Kevin, do you see a bubble pop anytime in the future? Since everyone is saying we are in a bubble. Yeah, I mean a lot has to happen in order for a bubble to per se pop. So in my opinion, inventory has to skyrocket and or interest rates have to skyrocket as well. There's really nothing to tell us that interest rates are going to be skyrocketing. The Fed said they're going to be raising the federal funds rate in 2023. And so, yeah, if they're going to say, hey, we're going to raise the federal funds rate 0.5% or 1% this year, then that would cause a correction. So yeah, it's going to be dependent on interest rates and inventory. And those things are beyond our control. That's why I'm not a real estate fortune teller and telling people that the housing market's crashing. So I'm just reporting housing market data as I see them so you can make a more informed decision. Hope I answered that in a roundabout way. Robert from Tehachapi, is there much of a market for rental property with tenants already in the house? I have a couple of rentals I'm thinking of selling. So I actually had a client just reach out to me the other day asking me more or less the same question. I helped them buy a couple of investment properties over the years. They're thinking about selling one of the properties and they have a tenant who's living there. And I told them the vast majority, at least in my area, I don't know about Tehachapi, but in my neck of the woods, most of the buyers out there are looking to buy a house to live in. And so if you have a renter in there, then the buyer has to abide by the tenant's lease. So for example, if you list a house on July 1st, but the tenant has a lease until the end of the year, the new buyer has to honor that lease. And so in my opinion, that lowers your buyer pool because most people want to actually live in the house. The other side to it as well is that I have sold houses with tenants in them. They're a little bit more weary of having photos of the house online and then also with showings. Depends on the tenant, but it can be a little bit more of an issue selling a house with a tenant in place. Joe grew up in North Dakota. Yeah, cold is brutal. I can only imagine. Yeah, Christian asking about better to buy low interest rates at high prices or high interest rates at low prices. I would say buy what's right for you. The downside right now, of course, is that because interest rates are so low, that's why home prices are so high. And then when interest rates skyrocket, then prices dip. So it's a tough one to answer. Absolutely true. Wages are not going up to keep up with the home prices. I have not seen any reports to show that how incomes have gone up 20% year over year. However, home prices have. And then obviously rentals have gone up quite a bit as well. But sad but true. Fred, great videos, Jason. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. All right, so LA Pasadena area bidding wars are insane here. Gosh, yeah, same in Sacramento. Heard investment firms are buying up homes and plans to drive up rental. Rumor true? If so, why? Yeah, there's some. I actually need to do some research about this. I'm planning to make a video about this, perhaps maybe next week. But yeah, there are some private equity firms that like Blackstone, Invitation Homes, buying properties, single family houses, fixing them up, and then renting them out. Obviously, they see that rental prices are high. That's attractive to them. But yeah, it's surprising to me because I remember helping private equity firms in like 2013 when home prices were super low. And so it's interesting to see that obviously their return on their investments is still working, even though home prices are so high. I'm guessing that's because rental prices are so high as well. All right, catching up on some of these comments here. Thanks everyone for sending comments. Dulce, would you have any recommendations for your offer to be competitive in a hot housing market? Looking to start the buying process in a couple of months. We recently bought our investment property in May. Congrats on your investment property purchase. That's awesome. So recommendations to make your offer competitive in a hot housing market. So yeah, it's a really good question. So I would start with offering a higher deposit amount. In my neck of the woods, it's 1 to 2% of the purchase price. So if you offer more than that in the eyes of the seller, it makes you look like you're really, really motivated to purchase the house. On top of that, even before you start placing offers, talk to your lender and see if they can get you an approval out of underwriting. So a lender I work with here in the Sacramento area, Sean Krause of Big Valley Mortgage, he actually can get my clients an approval out of underwriting. What it basically means is that an actual person looks at the file, gives an approval, so we can potentially write offers with no loan contingency since they already have an approval. That takes about a week or two. So talk to your lender, see if they can do that, because as a buyer, it doesn't cost you anything, but it makes your offer look a lot more attractive. On top of that, the other contingency periods, of course, are the appraisals. So in my neck of the woods, a lot of people are waiving the appraisal or offering to pay, X dollars more in case the appraisal comes in less than your contract price. So that'd be one thing you could do. Talk to your real estate agent though, because what they should be able to tell you is that, hey, you're interested in this house. I'll run you some comparable sales to kind of get a general idea about where we think the property would appraise at. And then you can kind of formulate your offer from that. On top of that, you have the inspection period. Obviously, you have to, in our market, you have to offer a shortened inspection period. So in my neck of the woods, it's around 10 days, 7 to 10 days. If you offer 15 days, it's a lot of uncertainty with the seller. So those would be my quick tips to get an offer accepted. And then I can't tell you enough, work with a good real estate agent who has a good communication skills, because that can really help you out getting an offer accepted if they develop a good rapport with the listing agent. Back in the day, I would have told you to write a good letter to the seller, but now we're not really allowed to do that anymore. Midi, my contact number. I actually have my email address in all my video descriptions. So just shoot me an email. Pretty sure taxes are not going up. So I know some people talk about property taxes. I actually just learned from someone who was commenting on my channel saying that in Washington, property taxes increase when the tax basis increases. So in California, when you buy a house, the new tax basis is your purchase price, and then the property taxes increase. I think it's only 2% maximum per year, whereas that's not true in other areas of the country. All local builders have wait lists over 1,000 people. That's crazy. So they have a long process of folks. Yeah. Folks are offering 100,000 for a lot. Yeah, that's just an offer. I've heard this where builders are asking for offers on a lot. Back in the day, you could just arrive to a sales office at a new home development and just, pick your lot, put your deposit down, and you have a house in 4 to 9 months. Now it's like wait lists. Hope they contact you for a lot, and then they might ask for multiple offers for the same lot. I have heard that, which is just nuts. We have 90 people on the live stream right now. Thank you everyone for joining. Support over the year and a half on the channel is overwhelming. I really appreciate it. Makes this really fun. Dennis, thanks for your question and thanks for joining. Do you think multi-unit homes like triplexes or quads or a good deal right now? It doesn't look like you have resident much single-family residence. So in my neck of the woods, multifamily properties are pretty hard to come by. We have lack of housing inventory, especially for multifamily. But if you're looking for an investment property and it pencils out, then why not? Or if you're going to be house hacking and living on one side and renting out the others. So I would just say that if you find a good deal, why not go for it? We will serve. Yeah. Prominence in Whitney Ranch, Rockland. Yeah. They're building a ton of houses in Whitney Ranch and Rockland. That's like, if everyone knows, Rockland is just about half an hour east of Sacramento, close to Lincoln. They had availability, but not complete until January 2022, offering $72,000 in. Wow. That's crazy. I'm surprised by that. $72,000 in upgrade credits. That's great to see, because I'm not personally seeing that because builders have long waiting lists, but I have heard there are some availability in Whitney Ranch. So thanks for sharing. Man, if I knew, I would definitely tell you. How long will prices stay this high? And when the price drops, how do you think it'll be? Yeah, it's dependent on interest rates and housing inventory. Hard to say how that's going to play out. I'll definitely keep you posted. But it's anyone's guess. It really is. I don't want to be telling you misinformation. I'm not a real estate fortune teller. But yeah, good question. If I knew, I would definitely tell you. Have you looked in California, Central Valley regions? Yeah, I'm in Sacramento, Central Valley. Congratulations, Doug, for your daughter. $10,000 miles. Thank you for that. Really appreciate it. My pleasure. My pleasure. Hope I answered your question. Remember when Folsom homes were 200,000 in 2001? I remember when we used to drive around in all these dirt lots when there wasn't very many houses in Folsom and El Dorado Hills. And that was in like the early 90s. Folsom, El Dorado Hills, the surrounding areas of Sacramento have just exploded over the years, especially since early 2000s when home building in the early 2000s just absolutely exploded in our area. Bay Area is so expensive. Yeah, I hear you. Gosh, I just read home prices there in the Bay Area, San Francisco, just approaching $2 million for the median high home price there. And the surrounding areas around $2 million. It's nuts. I'm taking to go to Elk Grove. It's a good idea. I'm taking to go. So you're thinking about moving to Elk Grove, it sounds like, maybe moving from the Bay Area. I would just say, shoot me an email. I'd be happy to provide some information for you. Elk Grove is a huge area. So yeah, hard to say. It depends on what you're looking for. But happy to help. Shoot me an email. My email address is in the video description of all my videos. Millennial Millionaire. That's a great channel name. I like it. Conditionally approved. Congratulations on that. I'm closing on a new construction home. They are going through underwriting now. What's my next step? Closing on a new construction home. They're going through it right now. So I guess they would have to know, like, when are you closing escrow? I assume that you're probably going through underwriting right now. You're probably closing escrow in the next 30 days, I'm guessing. I would talk to your real estate agent if you have one representing with you. So one thing you can do prior to close of escrow, you still can do inspections. A lot of people don't do that, or you can do inspections. Of course, I don't know where you live. In California, we have a 1-year warranty for new homes. So that's on fit and finishes. So some people do inspections just before that 1-year warranty expires. So if they find anything, they ask the builder to repair it. So yeah, if you're in escrow, I would recommend do some inspections. I literally have had inspections done on properties with buyers and found more issues for a brand new house than a 30-year-old house. One in particular, they didn't even connect the sewer line. So if my client moved in, they would have backed up the whole house. So one thing you might want to do. But yeah, if you have an agent, talk to them. Are you seeing a lot of buyers in Sacramento from the Bay Area? Yeah, absolutely. I've definitely helped a fair share of people move from the Bay Area to Sacramento just because of affordability and work at home arrangements. But yeah, I definitely seen a lot of people. I don't know if it's really causing that much of a change to our real estate market here, but it has some sort of it is affecting it somewhat. Pedro, thanks for joining. Zillow said my house lost $27,000 in value in the last 30 days. I live in South Sacramento. What's your take? Yeah, that's a Zestimate, and it's all over the place. It can change day to day, and it's very interesting. So I wouldn't put a whole lot of weight into it. I literally never even look at the Zestimate for my house because it's just simply a computer generated number. Zillow will give the same valuation for your house that may be fully updated compared to the house next door that's completely gutted, complete fixer upper. They're just looking at the standard, square footage, number of bedrooms, the lot size, in order to give you a valuation, pulling comparable sales or sales close to your house in order to come up with a Zestimate. But yeah, the Zestimate, if you look on the Zillow's website, there's a range of deviation a standard deviation of a range that they say it's going to be worth. But I will say that when you list a house, when a realtor lists a house, oftentimes his estimate moves up to the asking price. And so, yeah, I would say I wouldn't put a whole lot of weight into that. But if you are curious to know what your home value is, you could reach out to any real estate agent who is happy to do that for free. Christian says, go to Rancho Cordova. It's close enough to Folsom, especially Anatolia. Yeah, so Rancho Cordova is more or less next to Folsom, really close by. Yeah, don't trust Zillow. All right, Canadians are the main buyers here in Buffalo. That's interesting. All right, where do you in Buffalo? I think is just on the other side of the border, right? Where do you find these cheap big houses under 150? Are you usually? Yeah, I don't have no clue where you can buy houses for $150,000. That is just like so foreign to me. In Sacramento, our home prices here on average are about 550. In California, it's 818,000. So yeah, I have no idea where you can buy a house for 150. I assume that they probably exist somewhere. All right, where are we at here? All right, let me catch up here. Maria, thanks for joining. Good to see you here. Live in Houston, Texas. Should I buy or buy now? I think you said wait or buy now, I assume. Awesome. Thanks for following the channel. I would say, buy once right for you. Don't have a real estate agent tell you whether or not you should buy or sell a house. But yeah, have long-term time horizons. If you do, 7 to 10 plus years. Dr. Clark, what are your thoughts on new build buyers canceling contracts or trying to raise the price of a home? Is there a way to avoid this? So I actually went over in a video, maybe I should do a follow-up video about should you buy a brand new house or not. But there's, because of the volatility of construction materials, the prices for those, some builders are doing an escalation clause, meaning if wood prices go up X percent, more than this, then buyer to pay the difference. And so builders are really trying to protect themselves because, hey, they're getting a contract, but the house is not going to be built for 4 to 9 months. Meanwhile, construction costs are through the roof. So trying to do that. But as a home buyer, you should be cognizant of that and definitely be aware. I'm not aware of any buyers canceling contracts. I don't really know how, I don't have too much experience with that. Perhaps if I was a home buyer buying a brand new house, I would read the contract before you sign it and see if there's any clause in there that would allow a builder to back out, especially an escalation clause. That'd be like a 1 or 2 page document. Super important to read that. Juan, hey, thanks for joining. My score is 620. My wife is 670. Can we get approved in Sacramento? I don't know the minimum qualification for FICO. Generally, lenders like to look at FICO scores or credit scores in the range of 740 to 760. So if you're below that, below 700, I would talk to a loan officer. You're more than happy to shoot me an email and I can give you a referral, a loan officer I know, like, and trust. But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not a lender. I don't know the answer to your question there. And Dan, great question. I don't deal with rents. I don't work with rental properties. Only for purchases. So I really actually don't really know how much they've gone up in Sacramento. I would imagine quite a bit. CJ, thanks for joining. Videos are very helpful. Appreciate that. Thank you everyone for joining here. 112 people. It's awesome. So I'm going to be doing this for about 15 more minutes, but I do want to answer everyone's question here. So if you have a question, definitely let me know. Catching up to here, I'm about 10 minutes behind here on the comments. Thanks, Duels. Appreciate your support. Hello, I'm from New Jersey. I'm closing soon on a housing. Why do sellers want conventional versus an FHA loan? So conventional loans, typically you put down minimum 5%. A lot of people put 20% down. FHA is 3.5% down. So in the eyes of a seller, the buyer looks a lot stronger if they have the funds to put more money down. The other downside with an FHA loan, it's dependent on the house, but FHA, you get an FHA appraisal done, and there are certain health and safety checks that must be approved in order to move forward with a FHA. with buying a house using an FHA loan. So certain health and safety conditions that must be met. So, for example, if there is chip paint on the exterior, some appraisers will mark that as it needs to be fixed before you buy the house. So in the eyes of a seller, conventional loans in general look a lot more attractive. But it's not to say that you can't get an approval with an FHA loan. Approval, I mean offer acceptance. Aurora, hey Jason, I'm a big fan of you. Thank you, appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Never missed your video. Wow, that's awesome. I post a lot of videos, so that says a lot. Appreciate your support. We're first-time home buyers. Which loan would be best for us? Buy a $850,000 house. Down payment's $300,000. My FICO score is 720. So yeah, I would say that you would do a conventional loan. You have a large down payment for an $850,000 house. There would be no reason why you would not do a conventional loan, in my opinion. But thanks for your question. And you're in the LA area. Makes sense. Makes sense for $850,000 house. I would assume that's very similar in LA there. Okay, I'm going to LA. Brad, I'm trying to buy in LRAR. Like I said, Arkansas, and I can't get any bin. Where's Arkansas? Yeah, tough market. I feel for you because it's tough to be a home buyer right now in many markets across the U.S. Miggy, what do you think about the Stockton area? I'm not too familiar with the Stockton area. Never sold a house out there. It's a little bit outside my territory. Yeah, real life. What do you think? Thoughts about Biden firing the head of Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac? I actually saw a headline about that, but I didn't get a chance to read the article about that. All right. There you go, Doug. My house sold for twice the Zillow's estimate. Yeah, there you go. I would imagine that they probably, this estimate probably got adjusted when you listed your house for sale, I bet. Or when the house was listed. Wow. Ahmad, I bought a new construction home from Taylor Morrison back in February. It already went up 97,000. Nuts. Congratulations to you. That is amazing. Christian says you can buy a house in Indiana for under 30,000. There you go. Elk Grove, awesome. Hey, thanks for joining. My neighbor, 30 minutes south of me. Can you cover, okay, so Christian, also, can you cover that you need an agent for a brand new house and you get a secondary, you can get a secondary, which is cheaper. Not sure what you mean. Oh, which is cheaper for a lender. So for anyone who doesn't know, when you get into a new home development, oftentimes, at least in my neck of the woods, the builder wants you to get pre-approved with their preferred lender. It does not mean you have to use their lender. They just want to do their checks and balances to make sure you're pre-approved. So oftentimes they say, hey, you can use our lender. We'll give you $5,000 or $10,000 closing cost credit. But if I was in your boat, I would say, hey, if you're comparing lender to lender, talk to their preferred lender and talk to another lender that your realtor would recommend, for example, and find out, ask them, what is the interest rate you're charging with no points paid? That way you'd be able to tell what's a cheaper lender. And yeah, you can use an agent for purchasing a brand new house, up to you. But builders don't give you any incentive to not use an agent. So in my opinion, why would you not use an agent? When will the cost of homes stop going up? Good question. Natasha, thanks for your question. Will the cost of homes go down when mortgage rates go up? Yeah, in general, when mortgage rates go up, then home values go down, but only by a significant amount. So what was it, in late January, February, interest rates were creeping kind of towards 4%, but still the housing market was still super, super hot. I think a lot of people are thinking, gosh, interest rates are going to be increasing a lot, and I'm missing out on my opportunity to buy a house. So in my opinion, the value of houses will not go down unless interest rates go up greatly. And anyone's guess when the cost of the cost of homes will stop going up. You are very welcome. And Christian, yeah, I would ask if you're working with let me just put your question here. How many lenders should you go before purchasing a house? I would say if you're working with your your realtor, I would ask for a recommendation for who they know, like, and trust. Oftentimes, they can give you one or two lenders to work with, and then you always can get another one. So maybe two or three. Juan, you're very welcome. Irene, is a good time to buy a house in California. Again, just buy when it's right for you. Have long-term time horizons, 7 to 10 plus years, emergency fund, stable job. All right. Vlad, thanks for your question. But they say housing supply is going up when the number of sales is going down. So true. Actually posted a video about that the other day. Existing home sales have been going down despite inventory going up. Inventory is not skyrocketing, but it has been going up. And stay tuned for my video tomorrow where I go over new home sales, and also inventory has increased as well for that. So I do see this dynamic in NorCal. Really good question. In NorCal, I would actually have to look that up. in general, I look at a lot of stats for maybe different cities and also across California in general, and also across the entire nation. We haven't seen inventory go up too much. Last time I saw in Sacramento, for example, inventory was down about 45% compared to a year ago. Good question. Derek, listening to your videos, always keep updated. Hey, thanks for your help. My pleasure. That's the point of the channel. I just want to help people make a more informed decision about whether they should buy or sell a house and how this pandemic's affecting our housing market. Have a lot of fun doing this YouTube channel. Really enjoyed it a lot. So thanks for your support. All right. All right. Maybe sell their house in Grant Bay. All right. My neighbor sold their house in Grant Bay in November, and the buyers decided that it was going to not work out for them. So they put it back on the market and sold for, geez, oh my gosh, that is insane, Wendy. Wow. Yeah, that's nuts. 4 months later. I'm surprised it took them 4 months to list their house, but maybe they wait until after the holidays. I bet those sellers are glad the buyers backed out. That's insane. I've seen the Granite Bay market absolutely explode. A lot of people interested in there. Yeah. I placed an all cash offer, almost $1.3 million the other day, and still didn't get accepted, even though it was over asking. Really good question here. Are California homes in high fire zones harder to sell? Do they have to disclose? Yeah, it's a really good question. So in high fire zones, I would imagine they probably are harder to sell because the home insurance is a lot more expensive. So there's a disclosure when you get in a contract. So California, there's called a natural hazard disclosure, or the NHD. And in that disclosure, it states any natural disasters that or hazards that are associated with the property, such as a seismic zone area where they're close to earthquakes, a wildfire area, or maybe in a flood zone, for example. So that's part of the disclosures you're given when you're getting a contract on buying a house. But I'm not sure if there's any disclosures in place that you have to provide how much your insurance is per year. But if I was a buyer in a contract, just ask your real estate, it's not your real estate agent, your insurance agent, about how much the home insurance is going to be. Gabe, thanks for your question. Just bought a semi-new house in Modesto, 0 down, 2.25%. That's insanely low interest rate. Okay, I was paying $2,800 a month rent. Wow, that's awesome. So you are paying $500 less per month than when you were renting. That is awesome, because part of your $2,300, I assume that's your principal and interest you're talking about there. So part of that $2,300 is paying down your loan. So really, you might be, $2,100 when you take that in consideration. So seems like a good deal to me. Congratulations on your purchase. Karen, hey, thanks for your question. Appreciate it. 143 people on the live stream right now. Thank you everyone for joining. Really appreciate your support. This is a lot more fun than just talking into my cell phone when I'm making my videos. Can I take a home equity loan on this equity I bought in October, and Zillow, don't know if that's accurate or not, has my house already up? Yeah. So this estimate, yeah, I wouldn't put too much weight into this estimate. I would reach out to, if you just bought your house in October, reach out to your real estate agent that just helped you buy the house, and ask them to give you an approximation about how much your home is worth. And then you'd be able to take that information and go see if you can get a home equity loan. Be a little bit careful though. So if you're talking about a home equity line of credit, that's an adjustable interest rate loan, and interest rates can't go down very much. So if you get a loan and with an adjustable interest rate, and interest rates continue to increase, then so does your payment. So just be very cautious regarding that. Denver, Sales are down because inventory is down. Yeah, absolutely. But what I mentioned in my video from the other day is that inventory has actually been increasing a little bit, but sales are down. And that's true for new home sales and existing houses across the US in general. Yeah, Denver, I've heard, is a hot housing market. Crazy out here. Lots of California cash buyers here. Yeah, I imagine people selling houses in California and then buying in Denver. Makes sense. Actually, I have family that live in Denver. Beautiful city. Are landlords getting the COVID grants loans here in Chico? The whole student body wasn't here, but prices still rising. I don't get it. Uh, Chico, I love Chico, by the way. Yeah, I mean, in general, across California, across the nation, most markets, home prices are increasing. You still have a lot of people are live there. Maybe they're working from home, for example, right? Landlords can do forbearance, for example. Not sure about grants and loans. I'm not too familiar with that. Sorry, Wayne. I don't know if I answered your question very well or not. Yeah, Edward, you need to have inventory through the roof to see a housing crash. We just don't see that. Yeah, check out my video from tomorrow. For new home sales, they say that housing inventory or month supply of housing inventory is actually at 5 months, which tells me that's more of a balanced real estate market for new homes in general across the US. But yeah, inventory would have to increase quite a bit, especially for existing houses, in order for a housing crash or correction to happen. We simply don't have enough houses to meet home buyer demand. Will that change? Stay tuned. Kansas City, Missouri. Good to see you, Charles. Thanks for joining. Yeah, this is another issue with, let me read your comment here first. Labor is so constrained that the backlog will keep home prices trending up. Labor or lack is going to continue. Yeah, this is especially true for building brand new houses. There have issues with building materials being super high, labor shortages, the cost of land is super high. It's very challenging to be a home builder, although there's high buyer demand still. But yeah, the backlog of labor and then also the delays in getting materials is also an issue. Christian, why are more expensive sell more right now? Um, I assume you're saying that houses that are more expensive are selling more right now, and that's definitely true. What's the latest stat I read in California? I think it's California. I can't remember if it's California or across the nation, but houses that sold over $2 million increased by 244% year over year. Absolutely nuts. NHD, yep, natural hazard disclosure. That's right. Thanks, Ashley. Appreciate that. Lumber's page. Do you have a YouTube channel about lumber? That'd be awesome. I don't know too much about lumber prices and what's going on there. Definitely would love to learn more about it, though. And yeah, I do see interest rates going up this year. Time will tell, but yeah, they've been kind of all over the place lately. But right now, I think they're around 3.2%. I wouldn't be surprised if they reach like 3.5, maybe 3.7 towards the end of the year. Hard to say. Like the video, folks. Appreciate that. Thank you for your support, Dr. Clark. Do you know the percent of houses that are second homes, investment, or not actual homes for families? I assume you're meaning home ownership. And for that figure, I do not know the answer to that. I think the most recent stat for actually purchases, though, is around, if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on this, I think it's around like 15% are investor purchases or second home purchases. But actual home ownership versus renters, I'm not positive. Catherine, hello from Baltimore, Maryland. Hello, thank you for joining. Chris, just like your video, appreciate your time and answering all the questions. Yeah, actually, my pleasure. Glad to be here and thanks for joining. I'm going to have to wrap this up here in about 5 minutes. So if you have any questions, additional questions, definitely let me know. I guess this is a follow-up question or follow-up comment about Chico. So Chico, California, love that college town. So fun. I guess I thought of a town, yeah, 75% college rentals. Wow. Geez, yeah. If there's a high percentage of rentals that college students typically live in, you would assume that there'd be some issues there with the housing market. I used to love a barbecue place there called Smoking Moe's. I wonder if it's still there. Wood dropped last 20%. Yeah, it actually dropped less than $900 per 1,000 board feet. I think it was yesterday. First time I've seen that since I think it was April. So yeah, really good to see that lumber prices have been going down. Good vibes. Thanks for really good vibes. I appreciate that. Yeah, lumber went down another 4% today. So good sign. Question, photo shoot is tomorrow and a new comp just came up. Would you suggest an increase in listing price before going to the market? And I listen all the time. Thanks for your support. Thanks for following the channel. So I assume you're selling your house. It sounds like you have a photo shoot tomorrow, a new comp. So do you mean a actual house actually sold, or do you mean a house that is listed for sale? I would definitely talk to your real estate agent, see what they would recommend. But yeah, if a new house actually sold recently to help support a higher price, potentially you could ask for more. I'm not too familiar with your area there. If you get multiple offers, then in my opinion, it doesn't really hurt to ask a little bit low in order to get multiple offers and drive up the price. But if you're in a market where you typically get 1 to 2 offers, you have to be really cognizant about your asking price. All right. Good question. How long have you been a realtor? I've been a realtor for 8 years. I think since February 2013. I entered the business in the fall of 2012. Yeah, super fun career. Love it. I also love making videos on YouTube as well. Yeah, it's about 8 years full time. Prior to that, I was a CPA. Haven't worked as a CPA in, gosh, I think 10 years, but still held my license. Yeah, is this the new normal? Is basically what you're asking, I think. And that's what a lot of people are asking that because we've had home prices increase for so long and inventory hasn't really changed a whole lot. So at some point it'll change. Stay tuned. Okay, that's great. Catherine, congratulations. I've been very lucky and been able to purchase my first home here in Baltimore, VA loan. That's great. Congratulations on your purchase, especially using a VA loan. VA loans are actually an amazing loan product. Put 0% down, hard to beat. Barry Goose Records. Hello, I have a question. Thanks for posting your question. I want to buy my first property. I'm thinking about getting a 2-bedroom apartment and renting a room to my cousin and live in the other room. This could be my first buy. This would be my first buy. Back in the day, I really wish I actually did this. I my first place was a 1-bedroom. Actually wish I bought a 2-bedroom, rented out the other room to help pay for your mortgage payment. So yeah, this is house hacking really, right? Great way to build wealth and be able to own some real estate. Thanks for your question. So yeah, I mean, I would look to see what your mortgage payment's going to be, how much you could rent the room out, and then see what your payment's going to be. That's what I would do. Our house is dropping. I assume home prices have not been dropping yet, but that is definitely a lagging indicator. So keep in mind when a house gets in escrow, or when a home seller accepts an offer from Homebuyer, it typically takes about 30 days to close escrow. So the home prices we're seeing now is really a reflection of what's going on with the housing market about 30 days ago. Right now we're seeing inventory increase just a little bit and sales decrease just a little bit. Is that seasonal? Or is that a sign that home buyers are backing out? Time will tell. It's a short-term trend. We'll see if it becomes a long-term one. Natasha, thanks for your question here. Which is cheaper? I want to live in a house for 4 years, lower mortgage rate or lower home price? Which is cheaper? I want to live in a house for 4 years, lower mortgage rate or lower home price? So I assume you're saying that you want to buy, but you're wondering, should I buy when mortgage rates are low or when home prices are low? And so, yeah, right now, mortgage rates are very low, but that means that home prices are very high. But if you want to live in the house for only 4 years, unless you plan to move out and rent it out, I wouldn't buy, because that's a very short time horizons there. Who knows what the housing market's going to be like in 4 years if you only want to live there for 4 years. I hope I'm understanding your question there. Yeah, rates are very low. But yeah, again, I would just look at what would be your mortgage payment, how much could you get for the room that you potentially want to rent out, to see what your net housing price would be, or housing cost would be. Yeah, and actually not too familiar with Tracy. Tracy's I think is about an hour south of me. I'm really not familiar with the Tracy market. Sorry. Hey, Doug. Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate that. Thanks for being here. Yeah, started the channel just to help people, and really enjoy doing that. So yeah, thanks for your support. Yeah, and Barry Goose, I'm not familiar with the market in North Carolina. I wish I could tell you. Same goes for Austin market. What do you think about the Austin, Texas housing market? I know it's absolutely on fire. I know agents there who say that it's just crazy. There's so much buyer demand, not enough houses. A lot of people relocating there because it's so much more affordable than more expensive areas. So yeah, I know that Austin, Texas housing market is absolutely insane. So I'm gonna be wrapping this up here. Does anyone have any last minute questions? Otherwise, I'm gonna be ending the video here, and then we'll see you tomorrow. But yeah, definitely stay tuned for I'm actually posting 2 videos tomorrow, as long as I can get them edited. One of them is going to be, is the housing market cooling? Because I'm going to be discussing some things I'm personally seeing with new home sales decreasing, yet inventory increasing, and some other things as well. And then also made a video about the foreclosure and moratorium extensions. And then that was just announced today, along with some news regarding mortgage loan forbearance, because that was also extended today. Not a lot of information on the internet about that yet. So stay tuned tomorrow for those 2 videos. At least that's the plan. Barry Goose, can we send you deals for underwriting? Are you interested in that? I'm not sure what you're referring to there. But if, yeah, I think you said you were in North Carolina. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with the market over there. Thank you for answering my question. Yeah, you bet. Yeah, stay tuned. Very timely question here. Rachi, what I think about the extensions on the evictions. So yeah, stay tuned on my channel. Actually, share my thoughts about that at the end of the video. But yeah, stay tuned on that channel for that. I'm actually surprised they extended it again, but it's been extended so many times ever since I started posting about this. Last year in March. Baltimore, rather steady market, still having price increases. Yeah. What do you think if we had so much low? Why do you think we've had so much low inventory in California for the past 5 years? Part of it is because of building. They haven't been building as many houses to support the growth. That's a huge reason why. Yeah, and just people are living in their houses longer as well. The other side of it is that we have a lot of buyer demand still. And so anytime a house hits the market, it gets sold. So that also reduces inventory as well. Yeah, I'm not too sure about OC for HOA. Catherine, you're very welcome. Smash the like button. Yes, please do. I appreciate that, Johnny. Thank you very much. And South Florida housing market. Yeah, not too familiar with the housing market in Florida. I wish I knew every single state and give you my thoughts about it. But yeah, I'm really not familiar with the market there, unfortunately. And Chris, yeah, you're more than welcome. Thank you for joining. Still had 115 people on the live stream here, which is overwhelming. It's just awesome. I really appreciate you guys' support. Absolutely. Thank you for joining. Thank you for your questions. What are rates expected to go up in 2020? Yeah, anyone's guess. Most people say around 3.5% for mortgage interest rates. Stay tuned on the channel for that. All right. If anyone doesn't have any last minute questions here, I'm going to be wrapping this up. Really appreciate you guys joining me on today's live stream, my second ever. I am pretty new to all this. I've only done this a second time now. So if I can improve upon these live streams to make it more enjoyable or more beneficial for you guys, let me know. Also, if I can change my YouTube channel in any way, such as the background, I know it's like ugly. If there's anything I can do to make the channel better, I definitely want to, make some changes if you guys have any recommendations. Last minute question here. My appraiser messed up and appraised my new house $100,000 over the price. He redid it, but it seems kind of shady, strange and shady. Yeah, I'm not too sure what's going on there. That seems kind of strange too. Why aren't they building to meet the demand in California? Is it too little land where the demand is, or too many regulations? I think it's probably a mix of both, honestly. Part of the reason is the construction materials are just insane. I mean, think of how high home prices. Sorry, think about how high lumber prices have been, how high they've been increasing this year. If you get in contract with a buyer and you're not going to be building that house for 4 to 9 months, and then suddenly in the meantime, lumber prices have gone up 100%. Then that really cuts it back on your margins. So part of it's that too. I'd like to see a video about investment property market in Sacramento. Yeah, I already considered making a video about that. Looking for an agent. Yeah, go to homeandmoney.com/Jason. It's a great service. They link you up with actually 2 real estate agents, and then you can choose which one you want to work with. But virtually anywhere in the US. That's homeandmoney.com/Jason. All right, I'm going to be wrapping this up. I really appreciate you guys joining me on the live stream today. Hope you have a good night, and stay tuned tomorrow for those 2 videos that are going to be hitting the YouTube tomorrow morning. All right. Yeah, you're very welcome. Hope you guys have a great night, and we'll see you soon. Next video.